The NBA MVP is basically reserved for the league's best player. But what if I told you there was one player who is criminally underrated for the value that he brings to his team and potentially the league as a whole? Let's talk about it. Based on the official most recent Kia MVP ladder, these are the top 3 candidates, and these are their respective stats, as well as their team records and current seed in their respective conference. Now, Shea, Jokic, and Giannis are all having very impressive seasons, but I think we could all agree that it probably is going to be narrowed down to Shea and Jokic towards the end of the season. And right now, it definitely feels like Shea is going to be walking away with that trophy. Not only is he leading the league in points per game, but he also has the second highest defensive rating as well. When you compare that to the other MVP candidates, nobody else is even in the top 10. That's pretty crazy. Okay, so with all that being said, who is this mystery basketball player? Who is the one player being criminally underrated for the value that they bring to their team's success? Well, I'll give you a couple hints. Looking back between the 2022 all the way through the 2024 season, this team had a combined record of 31 wins and 133 losses. Still don't got it? All right, I got you. In the 2024-2025 season alone, this team has dramatically improved to a 31-26 record and currently sit at the 6th seed in their respective conference. And the last hint I'll give you, this player is currently leading a team that is on a 7-game win streak. If you still have no idea, then do me a huge favor and drop a like on this video and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any future NBA and other sports content. Alright, so enough with the suspense. I'm gonna go ahead and install you guys out. The player I'm referring to is none other than Detroit Pistons point guard Cade Cunningham. For those of you who don't know, Cade Cunningham is listed somewhere between 6'6" and 6'8" at 220 pounds. He's from Arlington, Texas, and attended Mount Verdi High School. He also went to Oklahoma State University, where throughout his career, he averaged 20 points, 6 rebounds, and 3.5 assists per game on 44, 40, and 85 shooting splits with an effective field goal percentage of 51.5%. He was the first overall pick in the NBA draft back in 2021 and has been steadily improving ever since. For his career, Cunningham is averaging 22 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists on 44, 34, and 85 shooting splits. But in the 2024-2025 season, so far he's averaging 26 points per game, 6 rebounds, 9.5 assists on 46, 36, and 85 shooting splits. Essentially career highs in almost every category. And it's pretty clear the effect that his gameplay has on the current success of his team. Like I mentioned before, the Pistons currently have a record of 32-26, which is good enough for the 6th seed in the Eastern Conference. And they currently have a 7-game winning streak, which is the highest in the conference, currently tied with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now you compare that to the previous season, where the Pistons managed to only win 14 games. They've already more than doubled that this year, and they played 53 games. And by the way, Cade Cunningham has played all 53 games so far. Now obviously, I'm not going to sit here and act like it's only Cade Cunningham that's contributing to the Detroit Pistons' recent success. With the emergence of players like Jalen Duren, Jaden Ivey, and Asur Thompson have been incredibly helpful as well. And shout out to JB Biggerstaff, who has done an incredible job of coaching this young roster. But with that being said, it's pretty clear that Cade Cunningham is the major driving force behind it. It's no coincidence that we just wrapped up All-Star Weekend, and Cade Cunningham was not only the only All-Star on the Detroit Pistons, but it was actually his first All-Star selection. He's having an incredible year. He's currently ranked 3rd in NBA in usage percentage, trailing only Giannis Antetokounmpo and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. He's also ranked 3rd in assist percentage, sitting behind only Trae Young and LeBron James. Cade Cunningham has averaged 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in roughly about 20 games this season. He's also scored 30 or more points in 15 games this season, which is actually the 4th most by a Piston in over 30 years. Another interesting stat to take note of. With Cade Cunningham, the Pistons' offensive rating is around 110.7, and their defensive rating is 111.6. Without Cade Cunningham, their offensive rating is 107.8, and they have a defensive rating of 117.9. So that's just another indication of how valuable Cade Cunningham is to this team. As impressive as his year has been so far, it kind of gets crazier. If you look at his stats post All-Star break, Cade Cunningham has actually kicked it up a notch. Again, post All-Star break, he's averaging 32 points, 6 rebounds, and over 10 assists per game. And he's shooting 54% from the field and an insane 54% from three, and that's on 8 3-point attempts per game. Without question, those numbers rival any top 5 MVP candidate that's currently in the league today. So statistically, even if you don't think he should be in the MVP conversation, there's no question that his stats this season have been undeniable, and it's very clear the effect that his play has had on the success of this team. And a lot of you may not have had the chance to watch him this season, so you're probably asking yourself, okay, but what about the eye test? And I can assure you, he definitely passes that as well. Watching Cade Cunningham play is an interesting experience because he has clearly the NBA body, right? He's at minimum 6'6", he's 220 pounds, he has a 7-foot wingspan. This guy is NBA ready from a physical standpoint. But watching him play, he's as versatile as it comes. He's emerging as one of the better two-way players in the league, so he's nowhere near a defensive liability. And you can clearly see what he does on the offensive end. Not only is he a tremendous facilitator, even going back to college, he's always had a good feel for the game. But his ability to put the ball in the bucket is kind of crazy too. What really unlocked it for me and for him, honestly, is that he was able to expand on his three-point game. His ability to improve that and become more consistent from beyond the arc just opens up everything for the modern game. He has a game that can fit in any era, but once he decided to consistently improve that three-point shooting, it was lights out. He's very comfortable handling the rock. Obviously, he's a point guard. He's very comfortable with his back to the basket, which is great. He can back down smaller guards. He's a really good passer out of the post as well. I mean, you know, for a guy who's only been in the league since 2021, I mean, he's got a pretty complete game. I can honestly say it's a pleasure to watch him play. He's one of the most unique things about his game is, and you can kind of compare it to maybe like a Nikola Jokic or even like a Luka Doncic, is that he always finds a way to pace himself. Like, he has his own pace, and it's very difficult to rush him. Okay, he knows exactly when to slow the game down, but he also has the ability to speed the game up when necessary. But he always flows at his own pace. So he's a very good decision maker, and most of the times, whether it's in, you know, just a regular situation or a clutch situation, you can rely on him to, more often than not, make the right decision. And it's a pleasure to watch. It's really something else. And if you haven't had a chance to watch him yet, I encourage you to watch him more because, like I said earlier in the video, post All-Star break, he's only gotten better. And if he keeps trending like this, who knows? There might be a good chance. One, he already got his first All-Star selection this year. But I would not be surprised if this is also his first year where he gets selected to the All-NBA team. And who knows? If the Pistons keep winning, he might be in talks for MVP. Well, that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this video. I genuinely felt like I had to make a video on Cade Cunningham because even as well as he's been playing, I don't think he's getting nearly enough credit for the job that he's doing over there in Detroit. If you liked the video, again, I would genuinely appreciate your support. Go ahead and drop a like on it. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next video. Here.